Hey all, my name is Jakey and welcome to Final Fantasy 3 Dragoon Only Run. So for those of you that don't know, Final Fantasy 3 has a job system that unlocks new jobs as you progress through the game. For the Dragoon job, we need to get the water crystal, which is around the halfway point of the game. So before we get there, let me explain what the rules for this run are actually going to be. 1. We must stay as the Onion Knight until we have unlocked our desired job. The Onion Knight is the starting job and probably the weakest job until you get to like the later levels of the game. 2. We can use a different job outside battles to allow us to get into like certain areas. We can't use them for healing or anything else. Like, you need to be minied or you need to be taught to get into certain areas of the game. So we can use them for that, but we can't use them in battle or to heal up or whatever. 3. Once we've unlocked the job, we are locked into using it for the rest of the run. Like, we can't change back, like, we've just got to stay as our job, even if the job hasn't got no equipment. 4. We're going to try and keep a level to a minimum, so we'll try not to over level and whatnot. And 5. We ain't allowed to start a new run until this run has been finished, so if I get stuck, I can't be like, oh well, I'm going to start a new run now, just keep me occupied, I'm getting it done. Right, now the rules are sorted. I'll probably put them in the description as well, just in case anyone forgets. Now, I want you guys to try and guess how long the run took and what level I was when I completed it. Or, if you think I failed, you can write that as well. I don't mind if you have no faith in me, and I think this is doable, but if you don't think I can do it, you just let me know. So, first things first, we got to progress with the story in order to unlock the job. So we find ourselves in a cave and we got to get out. On the way out we see some funny water, and for some reason we decide to drink it, and it heals us. Then we find the wind crystal. We're attacked by a turtle, which is the boss, and we beat it easily enough. Then the crystal tells us our destiny before giving us a couple of jobs that we cannot use. So we begin the journey. We go to the nearest town, and it doesn't really have much in it, so we quickly move on to another town where everyone's turned into ghosts. And this is where Sid is, and he gives us an airship that he buried in the sand. Somehow, because that seems like a mighty task. So we go get it, and then we go to the castle where the people have also been turned into ghosts. All but one. This guy was out on a mission when the curse happened, so I guess he's lucky. Or not. Depends on how you look at it, really. So we go over to this cave where we gotta beat the master behind this curse of ghosts. But the enemies are pretty strong in here. So we go get some gil and some HP. Now, one of the funny things about the Onion Knight job is you don't actually get start boosts until you hit level 10. I think it goes up in like levels of 10, and you only get one stat boost per start. So you get one for your strength, one for your defense, all that sort of stuff in it. So for all them other levels you're only getting HP. It's pretty bad. After we get the gil and we better equipped, we go take on the boss and find Princess Sarah there. She's important later, but for now we just leave her at the castle and then we return to Sid after the boss has been beaten. He's been killed of being a ghost and he wants to go to his hometown, but there's a rock in the way, so he asks a blacksmith to upgrade the ship so we can smash a rock, and also our ship in the process. I thought it was a little bit too early to have an airship, so I cleared the Mithram Isles for his loot, gave Sid's wife an elixir in exchange for Sid's treasures, then headed to Dragon's Peak. From here I'm just going to explain the important parts instead of the old story. We jump off Dragon's Peak because the dragon was trying to eat us, and in the process we made a new friend who gave us a spell mini. This is where the instances of having to change jobs just to become mini to get in certain places is going to start, more or less. So we change to a white mage, heal ourselves up, cast a mini spell on ourselves. When I say heal ourselves up as well, I mean by like a spring, not... Because when you change your job, you don't get your MP you've got to go somewhere like an inn or a spring to get yourself MP to actually be able to use the spells. So we do that, turn ourselves mini, and then we run from everything, because when you're minied, you don't do no damage. Like, you do 1 damage basically. It's not enough to get you through battles. So we pass through the Vikings cave. Then the captain offers up his ship, but we can't go nowhere on it. So we gotta go inside this cave, which requires us to be mini again. But as I just stated, we can't do much damage because of it. But when you mini, you can still use items, and some items have damaging properties. So in this little patch of water just before the temple, and if we go any further up, we'll get attacked by the Nectar Dragon, which will just annihilate us. We can actually farm for items, yeah. So that's what we do. And I kind of went a little overboard when getting the items. I ended up at level 25, and that's because the first time I went through and I tried the items we already had, they done next to no damage whatsoever. So I got some items. I kind of figured out how much I'd need, but I didn't realise that when you level up and your intelligence and that goes up, so does the damage of the items. So I overfarmed for the items when I only needed about 5 or 6. So we ran from everything in the Nectar Temple and threw items at the rat until he was no more. Then we ran away from everything on the way back out. We fixed the Nectar statue and got full access to the ship. Next stop, Tower of Owen. But we need to be a toad to enter, so we go to Gulgan Gulch. Don't know if I've butchered that, but it is what it is. There's a monkey and he gives you the toad spell. So now we can enter the Tower of Owen, but first we need to go to Castle Argus to use a healing spring, as only the white mage can turn us into a toad. So again, we change your job, run up to the Tower of Owen as a toad, and then we enter the tower, swim through a little gap only toads can fit through, I think. Once inside, you turn back into humans, and then turn Freya back into an Onion Knight. We progress through the Tower of Owen. We don't really have any trouble in here due to, over farming up to level 25 and going for the items. And we one shot everything and potion up when we need to. Medusa, who's the boss, also goes down on her second turn, so that was easy. And then Death decides he wants to play with fire, and we head off to meet some dwarves. While speaking to dwarves, we are told Gutsko has stolen a horn and we must retrieve it. And we do first, but we gotta turn into a toad again. Tons of fun. The process is the same as last time. We don't actually need to stay toad while in the dungeon, so we can change back as soon as we've gone in there. The subterranean lake is as easy as the last, and we one shot everything again. I wish I knew about that item and intelligence thing sooner, mine, so I didn't have to over level, and this could have been a bit more entertaining per se. After finding Gutsko, we corner him and fight him. He basically goes same as Medusa, except his fire attack almost has half our health, but he only has one chance to use it, and then we defeat him. We leave the subterranean lake but feel a presence following us, but think nothing of it. We then put the urn back upon the altar, but not before magical barrier is removed. After the barrier is removed and the urn is placed, BAM! Gutsko shows up and takes the 2 urns from the altar. This was his plan, that heathen. He makes hastily for the fire cavern, and I gotta go after him. Upon entering the cavern, I notice the enemies are way stronger. I can't one hit them and they hit me for half my health. After healing my team, I realise that I haven't got enough potions, so I hastily retreat back to the dwarves and tell them I can't do it. Nah, just joking. I get more potions and off we go for round 2, baby. This time we're getting further than the lobby. We progress through Anu's cane, and I'm reluctant to revive him as I don't have many Phoenix Downs, but I get him up on the next floor. Before long we find Gutsko, and he's just standing before the fire crystal. Using his power, he attacks us for round 2, and he's a dragon. What the hell? We use Crystal's power and we can change outfits. He does it and he turns into a freaking dragon. It doesn't matter anyway. we'll just beat him up in his dragon form and we're dead. Slight problem. He does flame, which hits our entire team for a lot of damage, and we can't heal and attack him. So we immediately challenge him to a rematch. We throw Arctic and Antarctic winds at him to deal ice damage. Him being fire breathing dragon doesn't seem to like that. We lose Ricard and Kane in the rematch, but we take the win, and the job's given to us by the fire crystal, even though they're useless to us. I guess we can't say no. After returning to the dwarves, we are followed again and think it's Gutsko, so we turn around and attack immediately, but he was a civilian trying to seek our help as his town was plundered. Unfortunately, he did not survive. If only we hadn't over leveled, maybe we wouldn't have won at him. So out of guilt, we went to Torkel, but not before speaking to this moonwalking dwarf. After following the dwarf and taking his loot, I remembered the civilian said something about Scholar, which is funny because the fire crystal just gave us our outfit. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Now to Torkel. Get seized, get put in a prison cell with the king, and we have to turn mini again, just to get through this tiny little door. So Freya does her thing, and we only need to be mini to enter the dungeon. We can turn back to normal the minute we've entered it and turn Freya back into an onion knight. The enemies here go down in 1 hit, but it's really hard, so a couple of characters go down. We get through a couple of damaging items on the way, where we get a couple of them, which will come in handy later. We finally meet the boss Hein, which has a certain gimmick to him, which is he can change his elemental weakness and has high physical defense. This is why that guy mentioned being a scholar. So if we use damaging items, it's going to be a gamble on whether we hurt him or heal him, because obviously we can't see his weakness. He hits hard with only one character at a time, so it's easy to heal against, and we throw a few damaging items to hurt him, but unfortunately we do end up healing him 3 times. Our attacks are doing less than 100 damage, so we kinda gotta rely on items. After the longest fight we fought so far, he goes down to an ice item which hits for over 800. Now with the king saved and our empty castle from earlier now full again, he gives me the Wheel of Time as thanks. I have no clue what it is and give it Sid, and it turns my ship into an airship. Now I check out the rest of the world and pick up some keys to my journey, because these locked doors will be not everywhere, but there are a lot of places that require them, and the only other way to open them is to turn into a thief, which I don't want to be doing. I just open doors as soon as I can do it the normal way. So we fly off the map and whoa, what's this? We've discovered a new world. There's got nothing in it. Okay then. After flying around, we see a wrecked ship and hop on board to help an ill lady who was bedridden. After giving her a measly portion, she asks us to take her to the water temple, and we oblige. Upon entering the temple, we noticed a crystal fragment on the floor. I am absolutely seething about this. We were supposed to get a Dragoon outfit, but the lady seemed happy, so I let it be. We can enter the cave behind the temple, and the monsters here can go down about 2 hits, and we can sometime 1 hit them. We almost get wiped out in our second fight, but we power through, and towards the end of the cave enemies can hit you and leave you petrified, which is a bit of a problem. But we get to the water crystal room and my eyes light up. While I'm distracted, someone tries to crossbow me, but the lady we accompanied threw us out the way and took the arrow for herself. Cheers buddy. So it's boss time, and it's really hard. 2 hits in a row to one character and they're down. So the strat is heal whoever gets hit while everyone else attacks, and pray that he attacks different people each turn, which he done. For some reason he dislikes Kane, and Kane goes down twice. We get him up and finally slay the Kraken. Not a bad boss fight. Salamander was way worse. Finally we are Dragoons, so we change everyone into their new outfits, which they are keeping on for the rest of the run. The game finally begins. This is where the run well and truly starts. Upon putting on their outfit, I realise they have no weapons, but luckily the shop sells weapons for Dragoons, so we're all good. Once we get up, we make our way into the sewers, which has enemies but no boss. However, it does have a forced encounter but then against the goblins you fight in the first part of the game, so they're pretty easy. Now, even though my stats are higher because I'm a Dragoon, my HP is still really low because of my time as an Onion Knight. So I'm still going down against normal mobs. This may be a problem for now, but I'm okay due to being able to buy Phoenix Downs and high potions. The first boss we face as Dragoons is Goldor, and he just lives in a solid gold mansion where all the doors are locked. Luckily I picked up the keys, so I enter all the rooms and take his loot. The enemies here are giving me grief, so I expect Goldor to be difficult, which he is, but I still managed to beat him. As per, King goes down, but I managed to get him back up and keep him healthy for the rest of the fight. I forgot to mention that Dragoons equip spears and dragon armor and have the jump ability. For some reason, I didn't have the characters healing themselves. I had others doing it for them in the fights. When a Dragoon jumps, they're out of combat until they fall back down, meaning they can't take any damage, nor can they be healed. I nearly messed up a fight due to that. Additionally, they do more damage than regular attack and don't lose their damage from the back row, so I can put them there to lower the physical damage. For some reason I didn't do that this fight or the next few fights. I don't even know if I ever did it, to be fair. I want to assume I did, but I know for now I hadn't done it in the run. The Goldor fight was the hardest and longest fight so far, but I prevailed. Then he destroys the last crystal and gives me a key to my ship. He kinda sees my ship while I was sleeping, so I got it back, let's soar through the skies and fly over this really big kingdom, and we got shot down. Nice. That's the second airship we've destroyed, so he's going to be well happy with us. I am now trapped here until I beat the next boss, which is Garuda. Normally, this is a difficult boss, but you know Final Fantasy 3 loves to tell you the best way to fight the next boss, either by telling you who to use or giving you a lot of job specific items before you're about to fight one. Well, this place is called Dragon Spire, and in one of the towns is filled with dragon gear. On top of that, when you save the prince and speak to certain NPCs, they give you a wind spear, which I'm pretty sure is Garuda's weakness because they constantly spam lightning, which hits all party members and usually hurts a lot. But we can jump, so we avoid it. Except when I enter the battle. Kain has low HP, so I send the other three up in the air and use high potion on Kain. He gets hit by lightning and it hits for about 400 odd, and he only has like 550 to 600 health. Luckily, when we hit for over 3500 and beat him with the 3 jumps. It would appear that flying enemies take way more damage from jump attacks, as this happens to some other mobs, mainly when we fly in on a certain airship, but not the airship we are about to get because it's too fast for enemies to catch. So we fly through the windy valley and blows every other ship away except this super fast one and arrive at a mansion. Upon entering the mansion, we are ambushed by Muggles, but they are soon called off by the owner of the mansion. He claims he knows why we are here and that we need the help of another, but to wake the person up we need to know his loot, which is at the bottom of the sea. This fella reckons he can make our new airship dive, but we've got to go to his basement, which is no biggie. Literally, I need to become mini again. I'm sure this is the last time though, so we do the usual, and we can't unmini in this dungeon unfortunately, but we don't have to fight the boss. So we just run from every encounter we come across and clear the dungeon. Now back to a normal size and with an airship that can dive, we go to the Temple of Time under the sea. No, not that one. That's on dry land. This place has locked doors, but we have magic keys so we can open them all and get some good armor. But the enemies here are as fast. Wait there, 2 secs. Enemies here are as fast as us and can spawn up to 4 at a time. Yeah, this is actually when the run starts to get a bit difficult due to us trying to stay as low a level as we can. They also have attacks that can attack all party members. Luckily jump negates a lot of damage, but even with that we're nearly wiped. We also run into a behemoth, but don't even give us our toughest fight. Like the last dungeon and the next one, spoilers, there's no boss in here, so once we get Noah's loot and listen to his peaceful little tune, I can leave. Weird place to add this, but as I'm writing this script, I can see the backlog buster is thinking about this, trying this challenge. So now I'm in a secret competition to get these uploaded before he does, as I started this challenge in particular 2 months ago. The good news is that if you guys like this sort of content, you now have 2 people uploading it, so you should be able to get your fair share of this sort of video. Anyway, we're gonna go back to the video. So with the loot, I go and wake up Une by placing a hat on her head. I don't know why I needed the loot. She accompanies me to the ancient cave. Here we get the weapon that is going to carry us for our fair share. That's the blood lance. These lances heal for damage done. Basically, it's auto drain. Like, it does a drain attack basically. So it's pretty awesome. It's going to be our main way to heal as we defeat enemies. Speaking of the mobs, here, split, and if we don't want to hit them, we will be coming. I've done some really bad writing for some reason. I think it's because I started rushing after I found out about backlog buster. But basically guys, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So you're going to expect some mistakes. Yeah, so they split up and we'll be dealing with their gimmick in another playthrough. So we'll just make our way through the cave, defeating everything while healing ourselves until we find ourselves in a ship. This is the invincible and it will help us get to areas we couldn't get to before by jumping over mountains. Yep, that's right, jumps over them. Not fly, the ship can go slightly higher than mountains for a moment. I then make a detour to Dogger's village, which was pointless, and then I head to the sunken cave for some more loot. We do the really annoying puzzle bit, which is just annoying more than it is hard, which involves jumping over mountains to get to a cave of shadows. Before we enter the cave, we take a sleep in our airship's bed, because the Invincible has the best shops, fat chocobo, and an inn all inside. We're riding style now, baby. Then we proceed inside. The enemies here have the same gimmick as the ancient cave and split if not won it. The cave is a bit of a problem because it's a very long cave, and for the first time in a while it actually has a boss. So it's a bit problematic, mainly because the boss can use Quake, which hits the entire party, unless we've jumped obviously, and we'll avoid it. Looking back, I realised I didn't equip my team with blood lances in the ancient cave and just barely made it through. The blood lances are OP, like they're the best lance in the game, so doing all that was a terrible mistake. So due to this, I ran from every enemy in the Cave of Shadows and got bested by the boss. But at least we got all the chests, so when we come back, yeah. Oh, I've lost her again now. And come back, yeah. After getting the blood spears annihilating everything. Yeah, so I don't know why I wrote it like that. I went back, I got double blood spears on everyone, and when I come back, yeah, I was mullering everything, like everything. I didn't have a problem at all. We got through it all, and we come up against Hectonche. I don't know if I've said that right, that's the boss. And we went round the drums he's defeated. Should have grabbed the blood lances way earlier. After making our way back through the tedious puzzle, we head to Dogger's mansion. Here we are teleported to Dogger's grotto, which is another dungeon, but this time it has back-to-back bosses. No healing in between, making them a mini boss rush. But before that happens, I discover something. If a character with 2 blood lances attacks themselves, they can't die, because it does like an auto drain and heals them, which I found that pretty funny, to be fair. They'll do more damage than the health they got, but it'll also heal them, so they can't go down. The enemies here can hit hard if a party member jumps late or comes back too early. Odds are they're going down because there's going to be a couple of enemies when they land and they're all going to just hit that one person, and our life still isn't the best. Dungeon's not too bad though, it's fairly straightforward. Now we got to fight the bosses. Dogger first and then Une. Why? Because we need keys for the last dungeon and an optional one, so Dogger attacks first, but 1 round of jumps to destroy him, but not before he hits Freya with a flare, leaving her on 36 HP. Now it's Une's turn and she hits Kane with Holy one-shotting him. But 4 jumps later and she's also down. After a not really sad part, we go to break the 4 giant statues with the fangs we've obtained and enter the Ancient's Maze, where we find the Earth Crystal and Titan, which is kind of like Hecton Chair, however you say her name. He's the only one got on the crystal, but it took 13 jumps to beat. We're in new territory now. As we make our way through the maze after obtaining jobs we could care less about, we immediately run to a King Behemoth, which is rare and strong, and he downs Freya, but we beat him kind of easily. Now the Ancient's Maze is a really long dungeon. If you stop and get every chest, you're looking at a good couple of minutes and detours. So we can run into Une's clone, but I'm sure they're weaker than her, so we're okay. What isn't okay is Bone Dragons, which are undead and have a reverse effect on the Blood Lance, wiping us out because we auto jumped. So we swap back to our wind spears and we still 1-hit in, so we get it a lot and having to revive and heal quite often. But we pick up some good loot and realise we didn't have the best equipment on and change into it. Then I mess right up at the end of the room and go down losing all progress in that big ass room. So I gotta go all the way back through, taking wrong turns just to get all the chests again. This annoyed me, but we got back to it. Then we got to the end and we were greeted with the Crystal Tower. Now, I gotta put a little bit of context in, because when writing up this script, I accidentally missed a video. Meaning I went from one video I recorded to the next video. So I thought I just went and got Blood Lances and come back and we're just 1-hitting everything. But that appears it wasn't the case. So, what does it say we added it? Yeah. Before I went back to the Cave of Shadows, I actually did all the optional stuff. I was level 33 when I lost to Hecton Chair, and before I picked up the Blood Lance, one for each encounter, one for each Dragoon, sorry, we're pretty poor. I couldn't get the dual Blood Lances, which I planned on getting. So, for the optional stuff, I decided to do Bahamut, Leviathan and Odin in that order. So first stop is Bahamut's Lair. Enemies here hit really hard and can 1-hit us, but we can 2. The first is a fairly small dungeon. We get through it fast and he goes down in 1 round of jumps. That's Bahamut. I really rushed this last part, so I do apologise. I was under a bit of pressure and this is the first time writing it, and the app that I wrote it on it's awful. It is terrible. So after we beat Bahamut, we get his summon, but obviously we can't use it. So now we head on to Leviathan. After a little trouble finding out how we get to him, we enter Lake Door. Here the enemies are weaker, so they don't hurt us as bad and still go down in 1 hit, just like Bahamut. Well, Bahamut didn't go down in 1 hit, he went down in a round or 2 of it. So, just like Bahamut's Lair though, it's not a particularly long dungeon. When we face off against Leviathan, he casts Protect as we jump, so he takes a little bit longer than Bahamut. Takes 3 rounds of jumps, but he also downed Kane, so Leviathan is the strongest optional boss. No for Odin. We've seen him before in the lower parts of Stronia, and like the other 2 who are on the floating continent, we need the Nautica ship, whereas the other 2 require the Invincible. We just need the submarine function, and there's 1 more optional place that requires the Invincible, and that's Falbeard, and it's mainly the cave. It's only a room with sword chests, so we quickly get them out the way, and the mobs are the same as Cave of Shadows because it's like a little warm-up place. We then get the 4 more Blood Lances and I'm ready for anything except undead. So we head to Odin, which is located at the end of the Saronia Catacombs. The enemies are really weak, yeah, like really weak. We could have come here as soon as we got the submarine probably, and we smashed right through them all. Just like the other two dungeons, it's like 3 or so floors, not very long. I also get a few elixirs from the chests here, which have encounters. We get to Odin and beat him in less than 2 full rounds of jump, but he almost takes out Cain, which is a running occurrence. Cain goes down so much, considering he's so OP in the 4th game. I ran back through all the dungeons to get the extra EXP rather than use auto shroom, and my level by the time I got back to the Cave of Shadows was 38. So that's where I was decimating everything there. A little flashback segment for you. Now back to the original timeline. In case you didn't notice it, and I did forget to mention it, but I've named my team after Dragoons from other Final Fantasy games. So we had Freya, Dion, which I guess he's not really a Dragoon, he's not stated to be a Dragoon, but he uses spear and he flies dragons. So I think he flies dragons anyway. I know he's Bahamut's, I forgot what they called it in 16, but he's Bahamut's summon thing basically. Then I got Ricard, which was the first ever Dragoon from Final Fantasy 2, and then obviously Cain, which is probably the more famous of the Dragoons. So, back to the story. And we were outside the Crystal Tower, I believe, and we get through the Ancient's Maze, go inside, head through the door right in front of us. After looking at a crystal wall and presenting them with the Eureka key, we can enter Eureka. Now this is technically an optional place, but it's got all the best gear and, well, best everything really. So you want to come here before you attempt the Crystal Tower. Here enemies hit hard, but with every dual blood lance they heal me right up. So I beat the enemy in one shot, enemies in one shot. After opening one of the chests in Eureka, I'm greeted with a fight against a ninja, which takes 5 jump attacks and downs Ricard, but it rewards me with my first ribbon. If you don't know what a ribbon is, they prevent status ailments including insta-kill moves, so basically the best headgear you can get. And after opening a few more chests, we come across a weapon on the pedestal called the Moonring Blade. We'll find these throughout the dungeon, and all of them are guarded by a boss. The boss guard in this one is a Mon, and he's basically a beefed up version of Hein from before. I assume he's undead, and I start unequipping my blood lances, but keep him on Cain and attack. And it turns out that he's not, so when everyone else returns from their jumps, I put blood lances back on and go elf leather on him. Like Hein, he has high physical defense, so this fight takes a little while, but we beat him with no problems. The next weapon is Masamune, which is guarded by the Konoichi. She immediately casts haste, and then Eiriga's Freya, which one hits her, but apart from that she goes down pretty easily. Next weapon is the fabled sword in the stone, Excalibur. Gardner is the general, which is generally a boring name and a boring fight. He used bio, drain and physical attacks, and the physicals hurt the most, but no one went down. The next room has 2 weapons in, but we go for the Elder Staff first, which also grants us 2 new jobs, Ninja and Sage. A little side note, I haven't added these jobs to the wheel because they are the best jobs in the game, and it's still basically like doing an Onion Night run. But if enough people want to see them, I'll add them to future runs, and I'll add them to the wheel, so there's a chance we can get them in future runs. So just let me know in the comments. The boss guard needs is Skilla, something like that. She uses Holy, which one hits Ricard and really hurts Cain, but goes down about 3 rounds of jumps. Last but not least, Ragnarok, which is guarded by Guardian. Well, I guess that makes sense. Anyway, he uses Quake, but we take him down after nearly 3 rounds of jumps, claiming the Ragnarok and beating all the bosses in his dungeon. The last room was 4 chests and some shops in with the best magic and crystal armors. But unknown to me, it's got a normal shop symbol. I assume it sells items, and I kinda mess up here. I buy the crystal armor, but I need high potions and phoenix downs. So we use an auto shroom to leave and then go straight back into the crystal tower. Now this dungeon has tough enemies in. Lots of floors, and it makes you take a roundabout way if you want to progress each floor. There's also 23 chests to keep an eye out for, so this is pretty hard. Here we encounter the Shinobi, which was a mini boss we missed in Falgabad. That's why it kind of isn't important to get that boss at the time, because he's not a one-off. Due to being low on healing items, I try to conserve as much items as possible when ascending the tower, so a lot of the time my party is on the red health, but I also think that I haven't hit max job level yet, which I find crazy, but we'll therefore have it by the end of the run. We have a game over at floor 3, but we just came onto it, so we aren't set too far back. But that kind of goes to show how risky we're playing just to conserve items. We keep losing Dion because I'm only reviving people and I'm not healing them with potions, but he's so slow he never lands jump before the others can, and he gets one shot, so he ends up about level or 2 behind the others. Now in this dungeon, an enemy calls Yellow Dragon, Red Dragon and Green Dragon, and they're harder than some bosses. Like, they are really hard, but they're also really rare. I don't want to come across these, but on the floor before the last I encounter one and he downs Freya and Dion. Luckily the other two managed to beat him and he drops an elixir. Now I just go for the chest and I'm at the boss. Dion manages to heal himself, but Freya goes down. We revive her and enter the last room, trigger a cutscene, and now onto the boss, Xande. He beats us first time and we have a problem. We're locked in the room where he is and we can't go back, and the autosave is keeping us here. If we load a save, I think it would take us back before Eureka, or even worse, back for the Ancient's Maze. So I gotta hope we just get some good luck. Second round we lose to him after losing Freya twice. This time round we was hitting a lot harder for some reason. We are then chucked straight into fighting the final boss. Fair. I wrote second round we lose him, but we actually beat him. So I do apologise for that little hiccup. And then we chucked straight into fighting the final boss, Cloud Darkness. She one hits me, but it's scripted, so you know, that's not too bad. We then enter the World of Darkness back to full health. So in the World of Darkness there's a door dead end, and there's 4 other pathways that lead to other rooms. These rooms have a chest which contain a ribbon, which we need another 3 of, but they're also hidden behind an enemy known as Xande's Claw, which is almost as troublesome as a real one. He hits all characters and it's hard, but his defense is so much weaker than his original, and he goes down in 1 round of jumps. We head to the room on the upper right and get the ribbon out of the chest. Then we enter another room which has a Darkfire crystal, which got a boss blocking it. The good thing about the crystal is they can heal you, so being able to get one means we can grind safely as we are stuck here. But the bosses guard them are like super difficult. So we're in the Darkfire crystal and it's guarded by the 2-headed dragon, which can hit my characters for twice their health, but only does single target attacks. But that's going to be way too difficult now as he wipes us out super fast. We need to unlock at least 1 crystal to damage the Cloud of Darkness, but we're going to try and do them all, which will make it so the Cloud of Darkness is easier. So after that we enter the bottom right room and get the ribbon. After beating another Xande's clone, we enter the Dark Earth Crystal room to take on that boss. After a few attempts we lose to him as well. Ahriman uses Meteor, Quake and the Gar magics. I'm sure he can use Kuja as well, which makes him really difficult. Now for the bottom left room. As per, we get the ribbon first and we head to the boss Echidna. This is the boss of the Dark Water Crystal. Echidna's movesets Flare, Death, Drain, Meteor and Flare. But Flare one hits us, so we stand no chance against them. Now I start to get panicked because we have low resources and no way to constantly heal, so I head straight to the room on top left for the Wind Crystal boss Cerberus. I get the last ribbon on the way even though I already had the 4, and we make our way to the crystal. If this boss is harder than the other 3, we have to go a good couple of hours back to grind some levels before attempting it. Right now we're level 47, so if we go back we need to at least be level 50 plus. Cerberus's moveset is lightning, which hits everyone but only for about 400-500 damage, and the gas spells, making him the easiest by far, and he goes down after about 4-5 rounds of jump and no one gets downed either. I quickly check the crystal and lo and behold it heals and revives my team. Now we can grind without worrying about resources, which is exactly what I do. I put some Prince Tennis on while I grinded, and after 2 episodes I was level 53-54, so I went back to the Dark Water Crystal to take on a Echidna. Pretty soon into the fight we lose Ricard, and a couple of turns after that we lose Dion. We can survive a flare now, but if Echidna goes twice in a row on a character, we lose him. But after a few more turns of jumping, we're just Freya and Kane, we managed to beat Echidna. This run is starting to become doable. Next is Ahriman, and at this point it's late in the night, so I got work in the morning and I'm hoping I can just get it done tonight, because I really wanted to spin the wheel to see what the next challenge will be. But I need to do more grinding. I will have to leave it for another day. We lose Dion immediately, followed by Freya, and have terrible luck because he casts Kuruja twice, which heals him for over 5,000. We hit for about 2,500 to 3,500, but nevertheless we come out on top. I'm well happy and I'm thinking we're getting this done tonight. We just got to take on the 2-headed dragon. On first attempt he beats us in 4 turns, still one shot into every hit. So I take the ribbon off everyone and put the crystal helm on, as it has more physical defense and that's all he does. It's just physical attacks. He got no move set, he just attacks. Somehow he hits harder than expected, except for Kane, which takes 2 attacks to go down. So this time I keep the ribbon on and give everyone a shield. We lasted a little longer, but we're still getting 1 hit most of the time. The other times he was hitting for less than 1,000. Then he would follow it up with an attack at it for like 3,000 plus, which is more health than we currently have. We were also hit. Oh, we also hit. My writing is so bad. We also hit for next to nothing, so we couldn't even heal the little damage attacks anyway. I stay up till about 11:30 in the night trying to get this done and grind up level 66. I'm even speaking quietly at this point because everyone else is sleeping, and I'm hoping to get this done. Somehow, even though we was hitting for about 3,500 and my health was now 3,700, he starts hitting for about 4,000. It's as if he leveled up with us. He even does a hit that does 5,800. So I'm done for the night. I'm pretty annoyed. And then I come back the next day at level 75. Give it another go, and we get lucky with who he targets and beat him with no downs. Now to take on the Cloud of Darkness. The attack pattern of the Cloud of Darkness is to use Particle Beam every turn. Very rarely should we use single target physical attack. Her particle beams hits the entire party for about 1,000 to 1,500, and we heal for about that, so there should be no problems. After about 6-7 turns of jumping, we beat her, losing no one in the party or at all. Like, we didn't even come close to being scared. She was way easier because we broke the 4 crystals. And now, before I spin the wheel to reveal the next job challenge, I just want to say that this took me ages to write. Like, it took me days, and you've seen how many mess ups I've done already. It's probably going to take me ages to edit this, but by the time you see it, the editing was done as well. And as I've stated, I've never done this before, so I do hope you all enjoyed the video and give it a like, comment and maybe subscribe, because I'll be doing this for all the jobs on Final Fantasy 3, well, excluding Ninja and Sage, unless you actually want to see it. This is the first video of this kind, and if it's a bit shoddy, I apologise, and the newer videos should only get better with experience. If you did actually comment and try to guess, we finished this run at level 75 with a time of 21 hours 53 minutes. So I do wonder if any of you actually got close with that at all. Now on to the wheel of jobs. and we got a knight. Not a bad job. I believe you get it from the fire crystal, so not too late into the game. So again, I'm going to thank you all for watching, and if you want to watch full playthrough, I have a playlist for it on the channel. And with that, I shall see you all in a bit. Ta-da!